Hello and welcome back to the series. EXP here, and you find me in my tea shop. Can I pour you a cup? I can? Brilliant. Here you go. Just head over here. There we go. Whoops. Sorry about that. Now you may have noticed that there's a little Ukrainian flag on my lapel right here, and that's because today, 23rd of August, is Ukrainian Flag Day. So I thought I'd show my support by having this little thing on for the entire day. It might be the entire episode. It might end up going away before then, depending on how things go and whether I remember and whatnot. But yeah, for now, it's there, and it's staying there for the time being. And if you can help with any efforts, I'll leave a few links down below for places to donate. With that out of the way, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment your favourite flag. Yeah? Deal. Back to the episode we go. Yeah, that was kind of an awkward end. There'll be more on that later. Post time lapse. Okay? Okay. But yes, welcome back to the series. As I was saying, EXP here, and we have two main things to do today. One of them is going to be focusing on this mountain and getting the terrain a little bit more natural, I think. Maybe put in our first few teas, maybe a few little buildings dotted about. I've added this cave, which I might decorate as well, depending on time. We'll see. But first of all, we are going to get into... Stuck on the stairs. We're going to get into finishing these little farms. Now, we've already got one ready to go, and that is our firework farm, which me and Wax had a lot of time? Had a lot of fun spending time debugging. And we got a system that now works pretty well using this autocrafter to craft the paper when it enters a system, which I've currently locked that hopper, so all the sugarcane is going directly into the storage, and then it will mix with any gunpowder that will end up here. I can check it if I get in the right place, which will end up in here. Yep, and then when it does, it will start this clock. No, it won't. Ignore that bit. Yes, once this is full of paper and gunpowder, and this hopper backs up, that'll start the clock. And when this empties, that'll stop the clock. So I've stopped it at the moment because we have a bit of a surplus of paper. And so when we get a bit more gunpowder on the go, we can start it off again. It's a bit finicky and not ideal, but we're working with limited space, so that's that. And over here we have started the system for the bamboo into planks. Is it planks? I've got one somewhere. Where did I put it? Bamboo blocks. That's the one. And then this one will be bamboo blocks into here, which will then... is it 1 for 2? I believe so. Yeah. So we'll just lock this off. It'll be 1 for 2. And then that will make the planks simultaneously. That's what we're going to work on now, so it shouldn't take too much longer. I don't really need a fancy system. I just need whatever that's doing up there, turning it into the planks, into the bamboo blocks, sorry, to then add a second clock onto this one. I might not have room for it. It might have to come out the front. We'll see, we'll see. So I'm going to tinker with that, and then I'll catch up with you again, because doing redstone in front of the camera is long and arduous, and most of the time it's just me standing around doing nothing going, well, actually, no, that won't. Yeah, so we'll skip all that, and you'll have a nice little system here when I'm done. Yay! Update time. Soon as I lost the footage, I'll have to go through everything one by one. So, first things first, we rearranged this system because it was getting too cumbersome to leave it on. Basically, it just kept blocking the clock on and then spinning it round continuously while also not building anything. Crafting anything. So, I've just put this single clock in. So, whenever there's 2 items in here, it will set the clock off. And as it's currently got nothing going into it, because that up there is locked and this down here is locked, which I ended up having to lock. Have I gone past it? No, it's there. Down here, That's not locked. It should be locked. Is it locked? Unless it's just because I can't see it because I'm up here. No, look there. There, okay. That should have been locked. What's going on? Okay, now it's locked. Right, as I was saying, with that locked, we just need to wait for some paper to be made, and then I can unlock it again. And hopefully they work in unison. If not, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just a little bit of an annoyance. And I was trying to avoid what the other clock was doing. It looks like I'm not going to be able to avoid what the other clock was doing, even with this one. Anyway, that's not as important anyway, because how many times more can I say? Anyway, because this is the one we was focusing on, which we've now emptied every single one of these into them. So I've swapped them round. This one now makes the fall blocks, and this one makes the planks. And the reason we did this simply because if I have this side here, I had more room to build this here, and rather than build a second clock, I've just taken the signal from this clock and extended it, pushed it down here with a slight delay into here. So now every time this gets full, it'll push another one in here. It's slightly locked at the moment because I haven't finished. Oop. There we go. There. And yeah, so yeah, that's on full delay. That should be long enough. So whenever bamboo comes in here, it'll plonk its way through there, into there. It'll make one block, and then it'll end up in here, and that'll shoot straight out using that signal. I believe that's a long enough delay for it to get in there. Should be more than enough. Yeah? Yeah. And then that one is just very simply this observer. Every time that number changes, it'll go up. But it tries to shoot it out, but it can't shoot it out until it's full anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Other than this observer being updated every single time, it's not that big of a deal. Right. On to project number 2. After the tiniest bit of research into the Yunnan province and some of the Team Mountains of China, and mostly just looking at the shape of tea trees and colours and whatnot, and generally the idea I'm going for, I need to do a fair bit of terraforming here. So that is what we're going to crack on with now. We're going to get this looking a little bit more tea ready. And then we'll start putting our trees in. We are going to have a mix of ancient trees, which are known as the living fossils, and a bunch of the more cultivatable young trees, which are more like bushes. But yeah, ultimately this area needs a bit of mountainifying, so that's what we're going to do now. So cue a little time lapse. Now, earlier I kind of haphazardly mentioned links about supporting Ukraine, and I realised in editing that I was kind of just awkwardly mentioning it, so I've decided I should probably take a segment and script and explain why I'm bringing it all up. Basically, by now, you'll be aware of Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the strain it's putting on the people, if not by direct attacks, then the lack of power and the diversion of aid and food and hell, really. Regardless of how you feel about the incursion, the fact that it's the regular people of Ukraine that are suffering should be enough to at the very least, to see news directly from the source. So I've added a few links in this description to a Ukrainian news outlet, which is United 24 Media, which will be covering things. And if you can find yourself with a bit of spare change, a few donation links as well. There's a direct one to the government efforts, which is United 24 itself. There is one that's directly to help fund the defence, which is Come Back Alive. And the last one, which is for military and medical aid, which will be Serhei Pratula, I believe. I could be butchering that saying, but I tried. And even if you can't donate, just being better informed and possibly sharing some of the news from the source will be a massive help to anyone it's affecting. I need more bone meal. So we've got a nice little corridor of trees now, and I've made a start down here on the tea tree overhangs, really, the farmable ones, which are going to be, it's going to be rather regimented. It's practically just this, maybe the occasional one of these and the occasional mist one, because these are like the bushes, and the bushes themselves are what get harvested the most. So we're just going to go down here, something like this, nothing set in stone. I'm going to get it a little bit more meaningful eventually, and that's one part of it. This is the first row, which will be on either side like this, because it's meant to represent a kind of, like I said, harvestable basically. And then this will also droop down here, and this is what the tea tree bushes will be like. As for the ancient trees, this is the first one I've started. Obviously it's not going to be this. It's not just dirt and roots. No, we'll be using actual leaves, and I'll do them properly when I actually got the final shape in, because taking them down to pain in the bum. But yeah, we'll be replacing this with probably dark oak, maybe spruce, and there'll be a lot more splintery branches as well. But I don't want to overdo it, because they are very leafy bushes. Well, they're not even bushes, bushy trees. And I want that to be portrayed. So the more branches, the more spindly it looks, the less leafy it looks. So that's what we're working towards. Kind of running a little bit out of time this episode, so I'm going to get this done and see where we are. If I get chance, I'm going to put in a nice little warehouse type building and maybe a shrine type building to chuck the beacon in eventually, maybe. It all depends on what kind of time we have today. Like, these are all plans to put in the work in. Like, this will be a fully functioning tea, mountain and village area eventually, but as it stands, this is just the first phase of it. And we're doing alright. We're doing alright. Not great on time, because of I'm still balancing getting back to work and recording again. But this is what I wanted to do. So I'm going to finish getting these in. I'm going to put that tree in, and then I'll catch back up with you after that. And there we have our finished ancient tea tree. The living fossil itself. Well, one of them. We're still going to have plenty more. Now, I left a couple of spaces in this, one here for the light to shine through, and on the other side, and I think it's done a very good job of making it look a little bit more natural and a little less blocky. Now, I'm not 100% set on the shape, I may tweak it here and there, but overall I think it's come along pretty nicely. And then coming back here, we also have a tea tree line. Our tea tree bush line, which again doesn't look too bad, I don't think. I did a pretty good job there. Doesn't look too uniform, doesn't look too random, it just looks good. And then, I don't know if you saw just very briefly, I might have cut it out, I might have left it in, but there is also our first building. Now, I tried to make this a kind of warehouse and loft. So there's a little, tiny little living space up here. And when I say tiny, I mean it's absolutely tiny, with authentic pink bedding. But the main thing is down here is a like storage area. Not so much storeroom, because I'm going to leave it open, but yeah, this is where bags and bags of tea is going to be stored. I'm probably going to build a roasting station up on this flat part here. Maybe. Might have to be in this recess because it doesn't make much sense to have a storage unit and then the roasting thingy further up. I suppose this is where all the tea will be gathered, and then this will be where it will be roasted, and then maybe somewhere else another warehouse for storing the cakes. I tried to make the char symbol here, and with the amount of space I had, I couldn't quite do it justice. It just looks like a blob. But yeah, it's meant to be the grass radical root and then the symbol for someone picking tea tree leaves. That's the idea behind it, and it's not great, but considering it's Minecraft and it's all blocks, it's not so bad. I may start with the barrels and other storage things here, but probably next week, seeing as we're coming up to probably the end of the episode now. So here's me with my Ukrainian badge still on, you know what we talked about earlier, and I appreciate you all making it this far. Once again, leave a like, drop a comment, and if you want to follow me on this journey, subscribe. Ta-ra a bit.